Welcome back to the program review series of videos where we're going to look at how Merced College is using the software eLumen Connect to do outcomes assessment and program review. And you can see our overview of the different things that we're looking at. And in this video, we're going to focus on part 3, these area coordinator tools. And we'll take a look at the process of adding and aligning goals and objectives, which is something that you can do for your area. And also I'll show you some examples of where we've done the process of adding the goals and objectives for the institution with the strategic plan. And we'll look at the process of adding your own goals and objectives for your program, but also being able to map those goals from your programs or your departments where you're doing your program review to the institutional goals and objectives in the strategic plan, so that we can actually use that as evidence at the institution level to show where we are making progress at these different goals for the institution of a whole, but where we're looking at the progress that's being made down at lower levels that are closer to where we look at the program level or the department level. And we'll end up looking at this, how we can go into our program review that is in what's known as the Strategic Planning Initiative part of eLumen, and show you how you can actually make certain areas of your program review active so that you can drop in and link them to these goals and objectives. So now we're making the link from the program level up to the area level in terms of those goals, and then those areas are going to have goals that match up with what the Instructional Master Planning Committee is doing, and also for the strategic plan for the college as a whole. As always, you can get to the eLumen link on the Merced College homepage by clicking on Faculty Staff up here in the corner of the page there, and then just scrolling down on the side underneath the login padlock to indicate that you're going to need login credentials. You click on eLumen. It asks for your username and password. Those would be the normal things that you're going to use to get into your email at Merced College. And here we can see the Merced College login, or the screen in eLumen after you've logged in. And here I've switched my role in the eLumen software to Area Coordinator for Area 1. And so I can make changes and look at various parts of Area 1 underneath this tab that isn't available when you're in your normal faculty or staff role. And that's the organization management right here. It often will default to this strategic planner, where we do have our initiatives over here where we're going to be looking at the program review, but we're going to start out looking at the org management system right here. And if you click on that and then come over here to the profile, this is where, as an area coordinator, and again, you can choose your role from this drop-down list right here. As an area coordinator, you can actually come in and start to make some modifications to the area itself. And if you want to, your area can have a mission statement for themselves that can be added just by clicking this Edit Mission over here. And we want to take a look at some of the goals that can be added to that particular area. So if you're looking at, for me, Area 1 is the math and science and engineering. And when we look at this, we can come up with a mission for that particular area. And this could be some parts of the mission are dealing with the math, other parts with the engineering and the science. You could write those all together in this mission statement right here. But the area itself can also come in and start writing goals. So maybe you want to improve retention or success, or do something where you're offering more outreach. So there you can actually come in and create a goal. So you can write down your goal statement here, which is really where you want to be. And then you would want to have some sort of statement on just saying, here's where we want to be. And if you click on the objectives underneath this, this is where you can write down a series of steps that can be used to actually reach your goal statement that you have up here. And when we look at these objectives that feed into this goal, these are great if you can write them in a way there you can actually check them off in a list and say, okay, we've actually reached this objective right here. Check this off. And if you have your series of objectives, once you've checked all those off, you've reached your goal. So we actually have some measurable objectives right here, or steps that we use to get to our goal where we want to be. And when you're done with this process over here, you would want to click on done. And I'm not going to for this thing because I didn't add them all there. But you can see how we can add some of these goals to this kind of statement. And so now I've created this general goal right here. And when we come in here, you can see you can remove it, you can edit it if you want to, as long as you have that selected. But the other thing that we can do is we can align these goals right here. So now we've got this goal for Area 1 right here, and you can see there is that first objective right there. But the beauty of this system right here is what we have along this is actually the Merced College Strategic Plan with its own goals and its own objectives. And so if you're looking at this, you can go through the strategic plan for the college as a whole and look at all these different kinds of goals. And there you could see something related to student services, and we work our way through all of these different goals with objectives and see whether or not you can line some of these things up. And if it does look like, hey, this goal is going to match up with this particular objective, you click right there and you've done this map and made a link and said, when we collect information for Area 1 right here, that information can be used to show that we are actually achieving this particular objective that feeds into our master plan with this particular goal right there. And so you can go through this process and go through your goals. And again, when we look at this, this is something where we want to have a goal as something that you can actively update. You could do this during or throughout the year and line up your goals with what we see for the college as a whole. And I'm going to step back to show you when we look at this for Merced College. There you can see the mission statement for Merced College as a whole is included on the profile for Merced College right here. And if we go down, we can also see that we've got our list of goals and then the objectives. And you can see there are some responsible personnel listed for each of these kinds of objectives. So if we go through this, this is where we would want to see these kinds of statements for these different departments so that the information that they're collecting in their assessments and in their program reviews can then feed up the ladder here to show that we're actually achieving these goals as an institution. So just to summarize again, if you want to add your goals and your objectives as an area coordinator, you have to be at this level in the hierarchy. You can come over here and click on the org management, which opens up new tabs that are associated with the org management. And then you click on the profile tab over here. And this is where you have access to the mission and also the goals here. And again, I want to point out that in order to be an area coordinator, your role has to be designated within eLumen. And so you will need to talk to the program review coordinator, the course SLO coordinator, or the SLO data assistant who can reset your role in eLumen to give you this permission to make modifications at the area level there. The other part of this question that we wanted to take a look at, so now that you've got goals for your area that you can have aligned with your mission, well, what role does this play in terms of program review? And that's where we come over here and we're going to go into this strategic planning tab where we've got a couple of these tools available. And if we look under our initiatives as the area coordinator, I can pull up any one of these programs, or I can go to their page where I would only see that listing right there. And I'm just going to pull up this biology instruction program review. And this is the program review that was started last year. And if you go through this, there are a couple things to remember. You can look at all the different sections by clicking on this. And remember, we did a program summary and an assessment summary where we looked at the mission of the program with relation to the mission of the college as a whole. We summarized the assessment information within the program review using some of these tables that are auto-generated by eLumen from the course assessment results. We also looked at our program trends right here, and this is where we looked at the data that came from institutional effectiveness. And if you remember, there is a hypertext link built into the program review where if you click on this, it will take you and ask you for your login information to get into the portal, and that's where the Office of Institutional Effectiveness has stored the Excel spreadsheets that contain our program review data sets. And this is a basic list of demographics for students and also for your programs that the Office of Institutional Effectiveness generates every year. And we would like to encourage faculty and staff to work with the Office of Institutional Effectiveness in terms of probing those data sets. If you find something and you want to collect some more information, you can work with that office to actually start to look at the data at different levels and start doing slicing and dicing to be able to try and identify some new trends in your demographical data that is out there. At the very end of our program reviews, we had two different sections, one of them dealing with goals, and you can see our planning goals with the action plan steps. This looks very similar to what we see in terms of eLumen, because we're going to be transferring a lot of this information to our goals and our objectives. And the very last thing is, not only did we have the planning summary for that, we also had our resource allocation. So this is the kinds of stuff that we're going to be migrating out of this format and into the budget tools that we have available in eLumen. But what I wanted to show people is all the way up here at the top, if you come in as an area coordinator, you do have access to what's known as the design mode. And if we click on this, you can see it goes to active mode, but it does change some of the settings that are associated with this program review. We can come in here and manage the people that are able to access this document. And there you just go through your list and click on the names here, and the available users will get moved over here to the collaborator side so that you can actually access this document and make changes. So the area coordinators have access to this tool right here. You also can come in here, and this little flag right here is what we want to make sure. If we want to take the information that is included in this section and link it up to our goals and our objectives, we need to click on this little flag button right here in the design mode. So you are literally designing the back end of this program review where you can link it to the goals or objectives. And so we can come in here and add the goals and objectives, and you can come into the different levels here. So the institutional level, where you can see that strategic plan again. This is our strategic plan for the next few years for the college with all the goals and all the objectives right there. You can come in at the division level, so look at Area 1 and look at, there is that one goal that I put in, and there is the objective. So if we click on this thing, notice it moves over here to this side. So we can actively take the goals right here and go back up to the institutional level and pull one of these things out. And now we've got things that are linked at the area level with the goals and the objectives, but also something that is linked at the institutional level. And so again, if we click on OK right here, we will pull up something where you can do that mapping function. And if you look at this mapping function, what we can see right here is there is our list of goals and objectives that we say match what we're doing in this particular part of the program review. And you can also come in and design a benchmark rubric system for doing this. So you could say, okay, this is what we need to do to meet, and this is what we need to do to or to demonstrate that we haven't met it. So you could say, in order to meet this one, we need to demonstrate, let's say 75% returns on a survey. That could be your benchmark that you're going to be using to say, this is how we're going to say I've actually met this. If we get 75% returns on our survey, we are going to say that we are meeting this strengthened university partnerships right there. And if you wanted to, you could even include a category over here to show how it has not been met. So here you could put under 75% return on your survey. So you can actually set up your own definitions for your goals and objectives. If you need to, you can go back and add some more, and you can save these if you want to. I'm just going to click on cancel because I don't need to save these. So again, you can go into this program review document on each of these sections right here and click on that thing and link your goals and objectives from your various areas or from your various parts of the institution to the actual sections within your program review where you are collecting the data that can be used to demonstrate whether or not you're actually achieving these objectives and reaching your goals. And remember, the overall point to this is we can take and generate reports at these different levels, at the department level, at the institutional level, to show progress that is being made at getting through that list of objectives to achieve the goals, and overall we can try and use this to improve student success at Merced College. So if we look at our overall plan right here, we started out with an introduction to the website for Merced College Assessment, where we have these helpful resources and links that are available. I showed you the eLumen interface. Again, both of those were in part 1 of this video series. And we've just finished off looking at the tools that are available as an assessment or as an area coordinator. You do have access to these org management and extra tools in terms of goals and objectives that aren't available when you come in at the faculty or staff level. And in the next videos, we'll take a look at the specific sections of the program reviews that we're updating and then migrating that planning summary over in terms of your goals and your action plan and also the budget tool.